Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome students. Today we will do article 2.4 terms associated with motion. Topics to be discussed today are position, distance, displacement. We will discuss these terminologies using examples and later on we will learn the differences between distance and displacement. So in previous classes you might have used a number line to express a number on it. If a teacher asked you to represent -3 on a number line, firstly, you would have drawn a number line placing 0 in the middle and all the positive integers towards the right, all the negative integers towards the left of 0. Then you would count 3 divisions to the left as you have to find -3 and you end up here. You position the dot to the left of 0. Reference point here is defined as a stationary point of comparison used to measure the distance dot has moved. And position of dot is towards the left from the reference point. The apple is on the right of tree. The reference point is tree, a stationary object from where the location of apple is being observed. In this case, apple is located to the right of tree. It is its position with respect to the reference point. So the tree in this case is the reference point as it is stationary. Location of Alicia to the reference point is towards the right. And again, with respect to reference point, we are observing Alicia is changing her position. She's moving further to the right. Let's see some more examples to clear the concept of reference point and position. So Rabia is standing near a road. She saw a car. She's stationary. She's the reference point. The car then covered some distance and came to the final position. So the position of car changed from this point to this point from observer's point of view. Even Google Map uses reference point and position. Suppose you want to go to a donut shop by car and Google Map takes your home as a reference point while telling you the location of donut shop near your area and tells the position where that donut shop is located from your home. That is 5.8 kilometers. So position seems like a vector quantity as it is telling you the magnitude as well as the direction. So if you want to define reference point in position, reference point is a point from where change in position of object is observed, and position is the location of a place or point with respect to some reference point. Position is a vector quantity and it is represented by a small letter x with a bar on it. If you see some more examples of reference point in position, the picture on the left, it is you standing in the middle of the room. So your position in the room will be taken from the reference point that is corner of the room. In the second picture, H represents your home, S represents your school. So if somebody asks you, where is your school from home? What is the position of it? So it's very easy for you. H will be your reference point and you will be telling that your school is towards northeast from home. Now let's get on with the concept of distance and displacement. So during break time, you should actually be heading from your class to playground. But you remember you have an assignment to submit to me, and then you come looking for me to the staff room. And then you go to the playground. So this black line over here is showing the longer path that you took. And if you wouldn't have any assignment to submit, you would have directly gone from classroom to playground. This is the shortest distance you would have traveled from classroom to playground. It is called displacement. And this longer path, this is called distance. Let's see another example to understand distance and displacement. Suppose the distance from home to school is 5 kilometer, and this is the shortest distance that you take every day. But let's suppose you get late one day and your dad is taking turns in order to find the shortest route, but still he ends up covering a larger path that is 10 kilometers. So the actual path covered by you is the distance, this blue path. The actual path covered by you is the distance. And if you were an early riser, you would have easily covered the smallest distance of 5 kilometers from home to school. Now there can be a little bit confusion in your mind going on. The does our position displacement, do they mean the same thing? And then can distance and displacement ever be equal? So the answer to the first question is no. Position and displacement do not mean the same thing. We note the position of an object from a reference point. The reference point is very necessary in locating position of an object. Whereas in displacement, you do not need a reference point. Displacement is just the difference in change in positions. It's a difference, it is the change that you observe between the 2 points, the initial and the final points. And yes, the second question, distance and displacement be equal? Yes, distance and displacement can be equal if the body is moving in a straight line. It is following the shortest distance. So yes, shortest path. So yes, distance and displacement can be equal. So distance is the total path covered by the body, regardless of the direction of its motion. It is a scalar quantity. It only depends upon magnitude. It is represented by capital letter S. So SI unit of distance is meter. The distance traveled by a moving object from A to B is 10 kilometer. Blue path. This example refers to the figure that I have shown you over here. See, this is blue path. This is distance. And displacement, the shortest distance between 2 points is called displacement, represented by small d with a bar on it, as it's a vector quantity represented by magnitude as well as direction, because yes, it is the shortest distance between the 2 points, the initial and the final point. And SI unit is meter, and the displacement of object from point A to B is 5 kilometer to east of A. If you see in the previous picture, see, it's from A to B, it's 5 kilometer and it's towards east. So let's discuss distance and displacement in case of a closed path. Let's suppose there is on a track an athlete runs exactly once around the track, and the path length he covers is of 500 meters. So the distance he covered is 500 meters, but the displacement in this case will be 0 because you can't see any change in its position. So the distance over here is going to be 500 meters, but the displacement is going to be 0. Or we can also say that the distance the athlete has traveled is equal to the circumference of the circle. And displacement again will be 0, as there is no difference between the 2 points. So summary of today's lecture. Position of an object means that where an object is located with respect to reference point. It is a vector quantity. It is denoted by small letter x with a bar on it. Similarities between distance and displacement is just two similarities. It's the unit, meter, and then they both can be equal. Both quantities can be equal when body is moving in a straight line. Differences are otherwise the actual path covered by the body Shortest distance between 2 points is displacement. Distance is a scalar quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. Distance can never be zero, and displacement can be zero when the object returns to its initial position. Distance is represented by capital S, and displacement is represented by capital D. So this is the summary again. If you see over here, this is the origin. A small girl is standing. This picture can give you an idea of the three topics that we discussed today. The position of car is a vector with tail at the origin and head at the location of the car. And then the displacement of the car is the difference between the initial and final positions, the starting or ending position. This is the initial position, the starting position. This is the final position, the ending position. The tail is at the initial position, if you see, and the head is towards the final position. This is the shortest distance. The displacement, actually, the length of the displacement vector is the shortest distance between initial and final positions. The distance traveled from initial to final position is actually the path length from here to here, the path length, and there are many paths that the car can take when it's traveling. This is the home assignment. Revise the lecture and write the differences between distance and displacement. So I hope you got the lecture today. If you still have any queries, you can contact me on my WhatsApp number shared in group. Okay, girls, see you. See you in next lecture. Take care. Allah Hafiz.